Hi everybody, welcome to Combat Japan. I'm your host Andres Vergara. Today we're going to be doing a quick preview of the upcoming Rise 201 event, which will take place this Saturday, August 29th, 2026 in the Korakuen Hall in Tokyo, Japan. That'll be starting at 4:15 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, so it'll be real early in the morning. For those of you that don't know, Rise is one of the two major kickboxing promotions in Japan along with K1. This is a numbered event for Rise, which means it's one of their higher tier products. They also have like regional, like I think it's called the Nova Series or the West Series. You can think of that as like a UFC fight night or maybe like a Rise and Landmark equivalent. And then they have their numbered events, which are bigger shows. And then their major shows are going to be their World Series events, as well as their El Dorado event, which I believe happens once a year. But yeah, we're going to be just looking at the top 5 fights of this card, and we're going to just talk about them real quick. I'll give some picks, and we'll go from there. All right, let's get started. Starting with a 51 kilogram bout between Reiya and King Rikuto. This is a rematch bout. These guys fought to a draw back in Rise 194, and this was back in December 2025. Since then, Reiya has a decision loss to Riku Kazushima, who's also on this card, and King Rikuto was able to get a victory following the draw against Reiya against Tasuku Okubo. And that was back in Rise 198. So one thing I want to point out, in my opinion, draws are actually pretty rare in kickboxing. So the way kickboxing works, usually there's 3 3-minute rounds, and if it gets judged a draw, then you get a 4th extra round to decide a winner. And in this case, what happened is that they went to the 4th round because the 3 first rounds were called a draw, and then the 4th round was also called a draw. So usually that 4th round is to determine who actually wins the whole thing. Winner takes all, but these guys were so evenly matched that even their 4th round ended up being a draw. I think this is going to be a really interesting match. I believe Reiya was interviewed in the past and said that that draw really didn't sit well with him. Also, he's not had the greatest stretch. You know, I mentioned he came off a loss after the draw, and I think before that he had to draw a loss to one of the other people on this card. Sora Tanazawa, who's also fighting on this card. So yeah, he hasn't won, I believe, since August 2025, so almost a year for Reiya. And King Rikuto also probably didn't like the fact that I went to a draw. And I watched a fight today, actually, and I actually gave it to Rikuto, but I can see it going both ways. But I think both guys are coming into this extra motivated. And I think obviously this match will have implications in the rankings in Rise for the 51.5 kilo division. But just with all that being said, I think King Rikuto is going to take this one and probably get a decision win over Reiya. All right, moving on. Okay, so now we have Sora Tanazawa versus Joe Aizawa at 53 kilograms. So I just talked about Sora Tanazawa. He was one of the losses for Reiya prior to getting that draw. And then just worth mentioning, this is another rematch. So, let me get this centered. Tanazawa beat Aizawa via majority decision, and this was about 2 years ago in a different promotion altogether. It was the Stand Up Volume 7. I gotta say, out of the main card, I think this is probably one I'm looking forward to the most. Both of these guys are pretty action-packed. You know, they're only 53 kilograms, so it's like 116 pounds. These guys don't really get tired. They're just go, go, go. Tanazawa in particular is pretty aggressive, so he will just move forward on you and just get, you know, he has like really punishing body shots and spinning back kicks, the whole deal. Aizawa is no slouch either. He also has a reach advantage too. I think he's significantly taller than Tanazawa. Record-wise, Tanazawa is, I believe, 11-1, and Aizawa is 5-3. They're about the same age. Genuinely, this could go either way. I do think that Tanazawa is more aggressive and maybe a little bit more skilled. Doesn't have to rely on his size as much or reach. So I'm actually picking Tanazawa to take it again. So he will be 2-0 against Aizawa, and I'm expecting a decision win for this 53 kilo matchup. All right, moving on. All right, so we're sticking in the 53 kilogram division. This is Kaito Hasegawa versus Riku Kazushima. And as I mentioned before, Kazushima is the guy that beat Reiya in his last fight. Both of these guys are coming into this around the same age. Hasegawa is 21, Kazushima is 23. Hasegawa has the better record. He's 18-3, whereas Kazushima is 15-5. Both of these guys actually fought Ryujin Nasukawa. but they both lost to him. But Kazushima lost in the first round. I want to say it was a left hook. He got caught, and then he tried to get up and just couldn't make the 10 count. He kind of tripped and fell backwards. Uh, Hasegawa, on the other hand, ended up losing to Nasukawa as well, but it was on the fifth round of a championship fight, and it was after he gave him just everything he could handle. But yeah, he ended up getting finished as well. It was a referee stoppage. He actually didn't really go down. But oh, worth mentioning also, Kazushima is the former Rise flyweight champion, and he did lose that belt to Nasukawa in that fight I just mentioned. Um, in terms of styles, I want to say Hasegawa has a lot more speed and finesse going for him than Kazushima. Kazushima is good, but I don't know. I kind of see him a little bit slow for his size. You know, usually guys this size are just super freaking fast and lights out. But I feel like Kazushima takes his time. So with that being said, I think Hasegawa has this. He's probably going to win. I think Hasegawa has this. And you know what? I'm actually going to call a finish here. I'm going to say by KO or TKO round 2 against Kazushima. So exciting fight. Two top guys, former champion, former title challenger, Hasegawa. I think this will be an interesting one as well. All right, moving on up to the co-main event. This is going to be a 49-kilogram bout between Mei Miyamoto and Namwan. Oh man, these Thai names, man. Sora Kongkrapan. And I think the main story of this fight is how is Mei Miyamoto going to fare after suffering her first loss. This was back in April against Payafong. And it was a decisive loss too. I believe she was knocked down at least twice. Miyamoto before that was undefeated, former mini flyweight champion. She's coming into this at 7-1 with that one loss being her last fight, and everybody's waiting to see how she'll fare post that defeat. And then she's going against Namwan here, who I believe is a lot younger. I think she's probably only 18 years old from what I saw, and not as much experience as Miyamoto. Namwan has a lot of experience in Muay Thai, but not in the kickboxing rule set where, you know, you don't do elbows and there's no Thai clinch or anything like that. But yeah, I'm kind of going to have to go with Miyamoto on this. She's more experienced. She's probably very eager to come back and prove that she's still at the top. And yeah, she'll get her chance against Namwan, who also is a Thai fighter, much like Miyamoto's last opponent. So we'll see if Miyamoto can bounce back. So I am officially picking Mei Miyamoto to win via decision. All right, and moving on to our main event. This is going to be a 90-kilogram bout, light heavyweight, between Kenta Nanbara versus Gunther Kalunda. Kenta Nanbara is coming into this at 12-1. He hasn't lost since 2022, so almost 4 years. Gunther Kalunda is coming into this at 6-2, with his last loss being actually a DQ loss in K1 this year, actually in February, against Akira Jr. He had a lot of illegal shots. I think he had an elbow and then a back of the head and just got carded. And then Akira Jr. couldn't continue. And then they basically DQ'd Gunther. Before that, he had lost a majority decision, I believe, in 2022 as well. So coming into this, in terms of matchup, Nanbara has a hell of a chin. He can just take a lot of damage. That was actually super evident in his last fight against Francis Goma. And then on the other side, Gunther just has a ton of power, dude. He's so strong. You'll see he actually is always kind of looking to finish. I think Gunther's cardio is a little suspect to me. He's really, really big. And I feel like he's kind of looking for haymakers and just round punches all the time. He doesn't really throw a lot of kicks. He'll throw leg kicks, but like he's not throwing anything like to the head usually, at least that I've seen. And Kenta Nanbara, I think, is a little bit more well-rounded in that regard, but he's also not going to be trying to throw a haymaker with each single attempt. So he's looking to set things up more, be a little bit more tactical. So I think if it goes, especially if it goes the distance, I'm going to have to give it to Nanbara here. Just basically out kickboxing Gunther, but Gunther could catch him earlier in the fight and finish it because he has that power. But that's not to say that Nanbara doesn't have power. I mean, he's coming into this with 10 KOs. So with all that being said, I think Nanbara is probably going to take it as well. I think it'll probably look very similar to his last fight against Goma, except I think Nanbara is probably going to look for a finish here. So I'm calling Kenta Nanbara via KO. I'm going to say round 3. Again, it could go either way. I don't have really strong feelings about it, but we shall see how it plays out. I think Rise has a really fun product. I don't follow it as much as I do K1. I'm just not as invested, and I'm trying to do more research and trying to do a better job of covering this organization. I mean, it's really fun when I watch it, and this is kind of lame, but I think the reason is because I watched the Japanese broadcast for this because it's on Abima and I have an account there, and because it's in Japanese and I don't speak Japanese fluently, I don't take up as much of the commentary as much as the build up as I do like K1 when it's like, Michael Chavello on commentary. So I think just as, by virtue of me not being fluent in Japanese, I just don't absorb it as much. But the quality of the fights are great, the pacing is great, and I'm actually excited to see this. So um, let me know if you're gonna watch. We're gonna switch back here. So that's it. That is a quick rundown of the top 5 matches of the card. I was going to do a full card preview. I just didn't have enough time to do research, and especially for the undercard fighters, the people I'm not as familiar with. But very excited that they're so active in Japanese combat sports. I feel like if I really did cover every single event, I'd be doing this full time. But I try to pick and choose the ones that are interesting to me, and a Rise numbered event definitely fits that criteria. So check it out. I'm gonna watch it on Abima, which is a Japanese online TV provider, and you can just create an account. And I do have to access it via VPN, unfortunately, because you can only have it if you're in Japan, apparently. So anyway, so that's it, short and sweet. Let me know if you're going to watch. Let me know what you think about kickboxing. I know kickboxing's kind of on a downtrend right now. Everybody's down on it, but kickboxing's really fun. 3-minute rounds, action, nonstop. It's sick. So check it out. And that's it. All right. We'll catch you in the next one. Thank you so much. Bye.